Hiya, I'm Tava Tucker.
And I'm Racheli Marks, and together we connect through the stories we hear.
During our episodes, we hope to learn,
revolutionize,
inspire, transform, and bring relatable content to you.
We would like to also discuss and internalize how your story can be someone's savior. This is the official
Together We Connect
podcast.
Hello everyone, it's Racheli Marks here. Unfortunately, Tava Tucker couldn't join us today, but we have a very, very special guest, and I'm just welcoming you all back. So let's get right into it. Hello, this is Danya Falkson. So nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, Danya is a fertility and pregnancy dietitian, as well as someone who guides pregnant women through their journeys of gestational time,
Yes.
basically. Okay, amazing. So, my first question to you is, how did you get into this line of work?
Okay, so I'm a registered dietitian.
Okay,
so which
amazing.
means I studied university, got a degree, it's a 4-year degree.
So that's what you started off with?
Yeah,
First,
started off with
just
that.
with dietitian
Yeah.
work. Okay.
And I worked in that for a bit, and most people know dietitian as
A scary person
someone
who
who
weighs you.
shouts at you because of your weight. There's more to that, obviously. Dietitians help people manage through food diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure, and there's so much more to it. I mean, in various diseases and hospital settings and different lifestyle conditions. But I love to learn, so I always found like I didn't know enough about
Anything about what you were learning.
about the power of what food can do.
That's
actually.
amazing.
And the weight loss and diabetes space can feel very those sort of spaces can feel very restrictive
And very lonely for a lot of women. I know that.
It's like very what you can't have, and like sort of limiting yourself, and
There's so many limitations.
what I found specifically with the women that I met and friends of mine and people I know and myself and family members is something as simple as weight loss isn't so simple because of hormones and women.
We're
really
complicated. Just full of hormones.
We're very complex. Every day of the month, our hormones are different, and it's really hard to
navigate them.
Yeah, because it's not always what you're eating, and sometimes it's sometimes so much more than that.
Amazing.
Which led me to eventually do another certification in this field specifically of fertility and prenatal nutrition, which I just found so fascinating, and essentially took it to the next level of what nutrients and food can do for women specifically. It's obviously applicable to men as well, but for women specifically, and it extends. Obviously, there is some overlap between weight loss and managing health conditions, but it extends to a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Which is very reassuring, because sometimes in the fertility and pregnancy space, it's very much focused on how much weight you gain or how much weight you've lost.
Yeah.
And
that's hard. I mean, you're supposed to be gaining weight in one area, I guess.
And it just broadens it to so much more than that.
Yeah. So, sure, that's a lot to unpack here. So I'm very excited about this. So, okay, so you started off as a dietitian, nutritionist, going into that space, and then you moved into the fertility and prenatal category, which is a completely different category because it's a 9-month prenatal situation, whereas and not just that, before and after are huge aspects of this journey that women go through. So I guess what I want to know is I mean, if it's about fertility and people who are struggling to fall pregnant, maybe, what would your biggest advice be for people who are, I guess, struggling to fall pregnant? I know it's a big question. You're like, oh no. Or maybe just go into the science of it, or what is happening.
So I think I'm a fertility dietitian, but I'm nowhere near a fertility specialist.
Right.
Which means that, and I do believe very much in holistic care,
Right.
all-rounded care.
Okay.
For some reason today, infertility and complications seems to be so much more common than it was, or maybe people
Yes.
just didn't know about it or didn't speak about it before.
Do you think it's the hormones in the food that we have that might be increasing issues?
Interestingly, I don't know about hormones, but definitely toxins like plastics.
Like the processed
Processed foods and toxins like plastics, pesticides, things like that. We're exposed to a lot more chemicals.
Right.
I don't know if it's...
directly.
I don't know. South Africa, America, I know there's a lot more like hormones added to things.
Yes.
But South Africa, I think it's quite regulated now how much is
Oh,
added. But I don't
That's
know.
amazing. Okay.
Um,
We hope.
We hope. But I think it is definitely a lot to do with exposure to things. We take a lot more medicine. We expose ourselves to a lot more in general.
Right. So that could be causing things before.
Yes,
Basically.
there's multiple factors. Unfortunately, age is a factor.
Okay.
And I think there are other things, other disease conditions, like if someone has other issues, it can also impact fertility. And we are seeing a lot of things like polycystic ovarian syndrome
Yeah,
and things like that.
that's what I was actually going to say. Like I think one of the biggest factors to take in is PCOS, as well as like endometriosis and things that haven't been diagnosed. I know there's a lot of people, especially in our community, who haven't been made aware of these certain things and what to look out for.
Yeah, so I think it's an important conversation that like it is good that people talk about it, so that people know that if they do have an issue, other people have gone through it, that sometimes there's a solution, you know, more often than not could be a simple solution, but people don't necessarily know, so it's important to inform people.
So let's inform them. So some of the things to look out for in terms of polycystic ovarian syndrome are?
Well, polycystic ovarian syndrome, indicators of it are very commonly struggling to lose weight,
Okay.
or being overweight, and you know, being on diet and trying to lose weight, and struggling. So a big factor in polycystic ovarian syndrome is insulin resistance, where when we eat,
The insulin doesn't do what it's supposed to be doing.
so essentially when you eat carbohydrates or sugar, the insulin doesn't use it up properly in the body and therefore stores it as fat. And that's something that you're seeing in people. It's like something that factors into diabetes and other conditions. Other symptoms of polycystic ovarian syndrome are irregular periods, so every few months, or not getting a period at all. I'm not a doctor again, but your other symptoms can be severe acne, or things like losing hair, which is like linked to actually having high levels of testosterone.
Fine.
Which women do have. We have testosterone.
Yes.
It's just not, it shouldn't be too high.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, there's three types of hormones, and you check the three in order to find out whether someone has polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah, I
think specialists or...
So I think if someone is struggling on their own to figure out what's going on, I'm not getting a period, or I'm struggling to lose weight, it's important to investigate.
And to go to someone.
To test, blood tests, go to a doctor, go to a
gynecologist even.
find out. and then you have some direction.
Amazing.
I would say the same for endometriosis, which is a little bit harder to diagnose.
Yeah.
I actually have it,
Oh, really?
which was a surprise to me because I'd like learned about it, but I hadn't.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a lot harder to diagnose. You can't see it on a scan,
Sure.
and there aren't really tests for it. But things like having really, really bad periods, and things like having intestinal problems and bloating and like severe discomfort and heavy periods and bad periods, I would say don't just take it as normal. Investigate if you can.
Go to a specialist. Yeah, that's probably the best advice we could give.
Don't suffer in silence.
Sure. So you've experienced this firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, I was already like sort of in this field, and I thought like I was having, I always had like bloating and discomfort and issues with my periods, and I didn't really understand.
But it makes you such a good empathetic person to be working in your line of field, which is pretty amazing. I mean, and not on purpose, obviously.
Thank God, I can't say that thank God, in terms of
The struggle.
what I've been through, I can't say that I've been through what other people have been through. People have go through really, really difficult things in terms of trying to manage their conditions, and I'm very blessed that I haven't in that extent.
Right.
But to some degree,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I'm very grateful. But to some degree, I can empathize
And relate.
and relate. And I think this is related, but it also isn't related.
That's fine.
And I'll
Digress, please.
I think it's an important thing to talk about as well, though. I find that something that we don't consider, and it does relate to the nutrition side of it, but it also relates to, I think, being Jewish and Orthodox and a woman. We don't know much about birth control until we get married, generally.
Yes.
Or until someone decides that they want to go on birth control or get birth control. And my personal experience with it is that it's not to be taken lightly, and it's something that people do tend to suffer with.
Birth control and finding the right one for them.
Finding the right method, the right pill, whatever. Because those synthetic hormones, I think it's an amazing thing that we have access to in our world. But I think to simply just, sometimes it brings that, for me personally, the birth control sort of brought out all the other issues.
Fine.
I think specifically because those synthetic hormones aggravate everything.
Right.
And I think we're very blessed to have access to it, like I said.
Yeah.
But I would say that should consider that whatever we're putting into the body in terms of
It's going to have an effect.
Has an effect. And like personally, I saw issues coming up after
You started birth control.
And I think that it can be a trigger for a lot of people. And I think that things like also struggling to lose weight and struggling to even your appetite and feeling healthy and gut health and periods, these things can be really, really affected. And it's something that we do need to remember when looking at the whole from like sort of bird's eye view, like fertility, pregnancy, general well-being.
Yeah.
That whatever the hormones, you asked about hormones in food, but the hormones in like medicine,
Birth control.
and well,
They're proper synthetic.
they're not without side effects.
For sure. Nothing is without side effects anymore. Okay, amazing. That's really great. I think that's such an important lesson to learn in general, just to know that whatever you are putting in your body, it's going to have an effect. So thank you. That's really interesting.
Sure.
So let's go more into what you actually deal with on a day-to-day basis. So do you see pregnant women to guide them with their eating?
So most of the people that I do see are more specifically trying to conceive.
Okay.
And then I'll try to guide them once, conceiving through pregnancy. It just, there happens to be at the moment, like the sort of type of clients that I'm attracting. But I am able to also guide pregnant women. People don't necessarily think that once pregnant you need to eat well.
Oh, really?
I think people think you can just eat whatever you want, and then whatever you want is what you crave. There's certain instances where people do get seek out assistance, which is generally if you get like gestational diabetes, which is
Fine.
Diabetes essentially triggered by pregnancy, and how to manage it. But there's a lot of ways that nutrition can help people who are already pregnant. Like one example is like, symptoms like nausea and vomiting, what to eat when you're feeling nauseous or sick, or having gut problems, or
Those struggles.
those sort of symptoms and side effects. But more than that, so there's a term. So we have genetics, right?
Yes.
You inherit from mom and dad, and that sort of sets you up for life a little bit.
Yeah.
There's another term called epigenetics,
Okay.
which is like sort of a subcategory of genetics.
Gonna delve deep here. Okay, yeah.
Essentially, there's certain genes that it's not set in stone, that you can sort of like shut them off or turn them on.
Can you change them?
You can't change them, but they can turn on or turn off,
Okay.
essentially. It's like a sort of a risk game, like how increased risks reduce the risks. There's no like, but essentially, they've done studies on like twins, for example, where like one twin leads a certain life and another twin leads another sort of type of life with maybe less healthy habits. And identical twins 20, 30 years into the future have different health conditions because of these genes, which essentially switched on or off. And our lifestyle and what we eat and stress that we go through essentially switches things on or off, and exposure to things. So for example, something like smoking or drinking, for example.
They switch them on or off, basically. Or even, is it an on?
Yeah, it can switch things on or off. I mean, yeah, I think I'm oversimplifying. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly.
Please explain.
No, I don't know if I know how to explain it
So the
properly.
epigenetics, what are they specifically that...
So the reason why I brought it up is specifically during pregnancy and the first 2 years of the child's life, what they're exposed to and the foods that they're exposed to and stress levels and the environment that they're exposed to sets them up for life.
Right.
So there have been studies where looking at what pregnant women eat while they're pregnant has shown to impact whether or not a child will get diabetes when they're older or have other chronic diseases.
That's a lot of responsibility, hey?
It's not to, you don't have to make yourself crazy, but it's just an awareness to know that those early years, so it's essentially pregnancy and the first 2 years of life, it's more than just food, it's mental, emotional, everything. Essentially, the nurture, the emotional care and love and mental development in the first 2 years sets a kid up for life. So it's essentially the same in terms of what they eat. So that's a big factor we need to remember, that actually what you eat during pregnancy can impact a child's health for the rest of their life.
Right.
The fertility element of it brings it back even further back and says, the body's ability to maintain that pregnancy and the building blocks of a future pregnancy can be impacted by what we eat and the fertility elements beforehand. But it definitely, yeah, it's a really sort of quite a long.
It's a detailed.
It's not just like one point in time. It's
throughout everything.
Throughout everything. Exactly.
Amazing. So, do you have any advice, like in terms of what foods are useful during pregnancy? And yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you specialize in.
Pregnancy specifically.
Well, before, during, and after.
Okay. So a lot of the things I'll say are probably going to be like.
People think it's obvious.
It may be obvious.
But still, we need the obvious truth.
And so, like I said, there is a lot of overlap with other things. My main advice would be to choose quality and variety over restriction and diet friendly things.
Okay.
Because there is overlap, but not everything that's good for weight loss is good for fertility.
Fine.
So, for example, I'll give you
I'm assuming like artificial sweeteners.
Well, yeah, that's definitely one.
You should try and avoid them.
Yeah.
If possible.
So there is overlap. For example, like sugar sweetened beverages, like Coke, cold drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely has shown to have negative effects for fertility and pregnancy, and that overlaps with what people would assume. But yes, artificial sweeteners can also be damaging. But something like fat, for example, you know, if you're on a weight loss diet, someone would say, well, cut fat or limit fat or cut, you know, carbs.
Or sugars.
All sugars. You know, limit how much fruit you're having, for example. But we want to look at the quality of what we're eating and variety, less than like trying to restrict it. So something like nuts, you know, people won't have nuts because they're high fat.
They're high in fat, but they're so good for you.
But they're so good for you. They have so many nutrients. They're anti-inflammatory. Things, for example, also like fruit. People would like limit their fruit intake, but fruit also has antioxidants, really, really, really good for your egg health, for endometriosis,
I mean, it has so many benefits that to be focusing on the sugar is very difficult.
So protein is really important, but you know, things like a high-fat diet or a high-protein diet is not necessarily the answer. You know, we want to make sure you're getting adequate
and the
carbohydrates, good quality carbohydrates. You know, someone will go on a diet, for example, and not have any starch, and then have like 5 loaves of bread. That mentality isn't helpful. We want to make sure you're having...
It's an extremist it's an extremist way of looking at things.
Yeah, we want to make sure you're having starch every day, different types, different grains.
Because that's for burning energy right now. Whereas the protein is to build muscle.
Yeah, and your body needs energy,
right now,
calories to fall pregnant and to be pregnant. It needs protein as well, and it needs fat. But I would say that, you know, trying to limit it for weight loss or to be healthy isn't the answer. And something like, for example, vegetables. Vegetables are so important. Not necessarily vegetables instead of starch. Vegetables with starch.
With starch.
And I think that's a lot of the mentality with weight loss and those sort of approaches is, you know, have your protein and veg. But we want the veg. The veg is not a punishment. Vegetables are important.
The nutrients.
And they have so many nutrients. And
they have vitamin C, iron,
you can have,
zinc.
Exactly. You can have bread and vegetables. You don't have to choose.
Don't choose. Just have both.
Have both. I'm not advocating for overindulging. But again, like I think we have to change that perspective of that having a slice of bread is overindulging, or having fruit is overindulging. It's not.
Really not. It's not. It's something that should be a part of someone's life.
Exactly. And the body needs the nutrients more than calories and protein and fat is, like you said, vitamin C, your healthy fats and your omega-3s, your vitamin A. There's so many vitamin B's.
Just all the vitamins. Do you suggest taking a vitamin, like a multivitamin for people?
Yeah. So aside from, we want to get as much nutrient from food as possible, yeah. But there's just way too much evidence to support that women should take prenatal.
Yeah.
So specifically, if trying to fall pregnant, I would go straight for a prenatal vitamin. Don't waste your time with a multivitamin. They're designed exactly for what a woman needs. Up until 3 months, if she wants to fall pregnant in 3 months, start taking a prenatal. Get the body ready, fill up stores. Often women don't even know they're pregnant, and then they haven't started a prenatal, and it's just better to be on one standard.
So it has all the vitamins as well as the folic acid.
Exactly. The folic acid is the most important, and it's the most researched that every woman needs for pregnancy, but also for fertility. But generally prenatals are safe. They have all the right amounts of things, whereas your multivitamins don't necessarily have those same safety regulations.
Right.
If you were to fall pregnant, all the right amounts. They can say that they have everything in there.
You would suggest a prenatal vitamin whenever, basically.
Essentially, if you're considering falling pregnant, within 3 or 6 months, prenatal.
All the way.
All the way.
Prenatal all the way. Okay, amazing. So the specifics that we've really gone through is that carbs are not bad.
Carbs are not bad.
That is really something that I wish more people knew. Carbs are not bad, as well as getting all the nutrients you need. You need a full plate. You can't. You have the vegetables, the protein, and the carbs on that plate, and it's nice to know.
It's important, and the moment you cut anything out, the concept that one should cut out anything, whether or not it's a food group or a type of food, aside from an allergy or an intolerance, or really a genuine dislike. Dairy, gluten, eggs, something's going to be missing.
So you wouldn't suggest it?
Or even vegetarianism, it's a personal choice. But anything you cut out will leave a gap.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be every day. You don't have to have everything every day.
It's over time.
It's over the week, over the month. But it's important to try. We do tend to villainize certain foods,
Yeah, we really do.
Even foods that are less healthy, for example.
Pizza, just as an example.
For example, it's not.
It's not bad for you.
It's not healthy to have every day.
No.
But you shouldn't forget what it does have. Food is not inherently evil. There's room for everything. We shouldn't value
Well, the truth is, the pizza is literally a full plate. I mean, you got your carbs, you got your fats, and your protein, which is the cheese.
I wouldn't advocate for it every day.
No, definitely
But
not.
if you're having it, see the value in it. Yes.
There is a value.
There is value. There's calcium, and there's protein, and there's energy.
And there's vegetables.
Sometimes there's vegetables.
Sometimes.
I think, we want to sort of make the body feel as fed, nourished, and comfortable as possible.
That's really cool. I love that. So this is for prenatal and for pre-pregnancy.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So we've touched on before and during. And is there a difference, I guess, afterwards? I mean, I know that there's lots of things happening hormonally with a woman. But, I mean, you have breastfeeding as well as even just coming out of that space?
So I'm not, like there are dietitians who do like specialize
After?
in after, and I'm not one of them. I mean, and I do obviously know from my basic training. I would say
Is
a
it the
similar
same
rule
concept?
applies when it comes to breastfeeding or recovering from pregnancy. You need to give your body nourishment. You know, if you're feeding a baby, that takes a huge toll. Recovering from growing a person takes a huge toll. I'm not advocating for, again, overindulgent or being like, oh, whatever, eat whatever I want. But drinking enough, getting enough energy, protein, healthy fats, these things also impact mental health. The
For sure.
type of food you have. Like, if you're having, sweets all day long and chocolate, it makes you feel good.
For a moment.
But it may not help you long run. And I would say, again, restriction during that time is not a good idea. There will be a time post-pregnancy where one can feel that maybe they can start to cut back a bit or like get back to pre-pregnancy weight, but this definitely doesn't have to be immediate. And at the end of the day,
it takes a long time.
It takes a long time, and restricting oneself and limiting oneself is not.
It's not helpful.
I don't know how helpful it is. You're nurturing another life. You're looking after yourself so that you can look after another life, whether or not you're breastfeeding or not. And it's important.
No matter what, that's
yeah.
It's a very difficult.
It's important to nurture yourself and give your body nutrients. And some people still take a prenatal even afterwards because
it gives them the right vitamins and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You restricting oneself and limiting and making rules and cutting out things, in the long run, is not necessarily going to help.
So there's a common phrase saying people saying I'm eating for two, right? I know that it's a common thing said,
Yeah.
and I know that quite a few specialists would disagree. They're saying you're growing a human that is much smaller than you. So you're not feeding two, you're feeding a much smaller version of yourself. So
well, first of all, it's not two adults.
Yes.
The calories that your body needs, specifically the third trimester,
are higher.
And post-pregnancy, like breastfeeding, are higher. You can measure it in terms of just the amount of energy a woman burns. It is higher than her actual calorie needs. It's not a second adult, but it is significant.
How many calories would you say? Specifically the third trimester, though. Is it 300?
Between like 400 and 500 calories.
Oh, that makes sense.
Extra, which is substantial.
It's a decent amount.
It is a decent amount. But it's a small person. It's not a full-size human. But babies actually need more calories per their weight than adults do. So relatively, it's a small person. They actually need more than you would assume they do.
Oh, really?
Babies eat a lot. They're doubling and tripling their weight within the first few months of life. If we had to eat like in ratio to what our weight is compared to what a baby eats, like it would be gigantic. But it's just because they're growing so fast. They grow every day. You look at a baby, they're literally every single day are growing.
Amazing.
Or should be. So maybe not eating for two, maybe for 1.5.
1.5.
Or 1.25. I think
it's a good thing to know. You are supposed to be eating more. You are supposed
to be eating more. It generally helps to. I wouldn't say it helps to be like, okay, I usually have one full plate at dinner, so now I get to have 3. But generally throughout the day, increasing your snacks. So if you usually have 2 snacks in the day, have 4 snacks in the day. If you generally have like a bowl of cereal for breakfast, have a bowl of cereal with an egg or with a fruit. It's not about incrementally throughout the day increasing your calories, your protein, your energy will add up by the end of the day, and then you don't feel like you have these intense cravings for sugar. But sometimes you will have a craving because sometimes that's just what you need.
Sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. So interesting, and how I guess different a person becomes when growing another human being. It's such a miracle.
It really, really is. It's definitely this whole field has really helped me to see God more.
Amazing.
Specifically, it's just incredible the miracle and the intricacies of what goes into building a life. We're very blessed. I think, women are often, there's we have to go through childbirth and the pain, and pregnancy is not easy. But we're very blessed to also be able to do it. If we can, obviously there are people who are struggling and it's not so simple.
That's yeah.
But it is a huge blessing if one can.
Sure. It's definitely something to think about. And before we end off, I would love to hear your favorite part about what you work in. I know that you're very grateful, and you've learned a lot about like faith and everything in this field. But what do you find that fuels you to keep being inspired in your field of work?
Well, I think it's how the little things do impact the greater picture. How a little bit of something every day
Can make a huge difference.
like one extra fruit every day can help,
With your vitamin intake,
with
nutrients.
how healthy your eggs are, or
That's amazing.
or if you and generally how healthy your body is. It's little things, it doesn't have to be these giant things. And I love reading up about all the different new research and strides in the field. It's still a developing field, and they're learning so much, and there's always research on it, which is very hopeful, because we may not know something now and the impact of something now, but next year we could know something else.
That's amazing.
And, it's a very positive, forward-moving field.
That's beautiful. I mean, I love everything about this field. Like, I'd love to hear all about it. It's just such an interesting aspect of life,
It is. Yeah, it is really.
Sure, it's amazing. So we always, myself and Tova, when she's here, we're missing you, Tova. Hope you're listening. We always end off with just saying one thing that we're grateful for, so we can go into our day and feel great. So I'll start. I'm very, very grateful to have you on the podcast, and to have your aspects and the way that you see the field that you work in, because you're so helpful to people who need the help, and people like you are so needed, and to bring awareness to our listeners I'm just so beyond grateful. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. What I'm grateful for, I've been trying to practice more gratitude in the last few
So
weeks.
practicing.
So thank God, I feel very lucky and blessed. What am I grateful for? Don't want to overshare. At the moment, I'm very grateful for my support system. That's what I'm grateful for at the moment.
Amazing. Always need a good support system.
It's definitely very grateful for family and friends and people in general who just like to build other people up, and
It's beautiful.
and see the good in people and remind people of the good in them. It's taken for granted.
I think we all we all do, but to be grateful for that is amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you so much for being here, Danya. You have been amazing and have shared so much light and, I guess, prospect in people's lives for what you do.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.